We start out with Alice and Circe, Kate, whatever, face to face. And Roman enters while Circe or Kate or whatever the fuck we're going to call her this episode is pondering her identity. And Roman kicks Alice out and says she talks a lot, which, I mean, whatever. It's Alice. She's a babbling fucking psychopath anyway. And she takes her leave. He says she's earned her freedom and he doesn't need her anymore. They don't need her. And she's planted the seeds of doubt in the mind of Kate skis, whatever at this point. Is anyone still even watching? Let's go. Dan it. Roll the footage. I can't do it.
Peter, I'm really starting to question why I'm even friends with you in the first place.
I was a little frustrated. Batwoman, that's just a car. Somebody's watching this show. That like really annoyed me. Batwoman is still doing quite well. It doesn't even look like Batwoman.
So Batwoman takes out a false face society goon who is selling snakebite to a guy in a luxury car. And of course, she catches him with her little cute batarang thing and her bat lasso, and he calls her a bitch, and of course it pisses her off because she's like,
call me a bitch again.
And of course she punches him in the face because she can't help herself because he's a, throwaway white male villain under his mask, and well, she's Batwoman, and she can't help taking out the patriarchy, especially those toxic white males.
Because that's what heroes do.
So Batwoman chases our prospective snakebite buyer into a church, which is clearly a den for the snakebite junkies, and Batwoman sees a girl whose face is covered in blood, and she appears to be eating someone. It's our toxic white male snakebite buyer, so I guess it doesn't really matter that he died. This is where we're at, 34 episodes in, and there's a drug that's making people zombies. Well, this episode can't get any fucking worse, can it?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Just what my ears needed. A Vesper Fairchild voiceover talking about the cannibal snakebite user. So after that little spot of joy, we're having a fundraiser at the bar that Ryan runs. It's called So after that little spot of joy, we're having a fundraiser for another community center. Yes, we're still doing that. Luke is trying to tell Ryan about the zombies, but she doesn't care because they're fucking stupid. We see Imani, who is Ryan's new...
The lesbian!
And she's collecting money from a donor, and then this brilliant piece of dialogue comes to us courtesy of the amazing fucking moron Caroline Dreisner writer's room full of idiots. Imani says some woman just donated a literal basketball court, and Ryan replies with,
Look at you making a ring with other people's money.
You're both pieces of shit. Yeah, I can prove it mathematically. Actually, let me grab my whiteboard.
I'll spare you the sheer horror of the brainless fucking dialogue between Imani and Luke as Ryan used Luke's mom breaking her ankle at work as an excuse to go get out of a date with Imani so she could go play Batwoman the night before. Yes, this is something that fucking happens.
So, I guess you could say things are getting pretty serious.
Back to the mean streets of Gotham, and another toxic white male is ready to get high on snakebite as he parks in the middle of an alley, and then, hey, we have a sighting for the GCPD. 2 GCPD officers tell him that he's blocking an alley, and then they just walk away and leave him to get high when they clearly could see that he probably had drugs inside the car, but they're like, fuck it, he's a white guy, we'll just leave him alone. It's not like he's a minority or something, which we would arrest immediately and probably shoot. Once he shoots up, he immediately starts eating ravenously, and then he looks in the mirror and his eyes turn into dun 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 snake eyes.
Snake eyes, we owe you our lives.
Meanwhile, back at
This is Lesbos!
Ryan is asking Little Fox how Kate dated. He says not very well, that's why she was always brooding. And I think he meant not dating, but she was always
Scissor me timber!
And Ryan says,
I don't brood, so we're gonna have to figure something out.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie. Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Luke tells her that living a double life isn't going to help her scissoring at all, and it comes with the territory of being
Lesbos!
No, not a lesbian. A superhero, you fucking dolt. God, this writing is insultingly bad. Then we get our second GCPD sighting as they show up at the Beaver Dam, or I don't know, Lesbos, and are greeted by Imani. And Whitey McCop number 1 says, "What is this?" To which Imani replies, "It's a fundraiser for the Sheldon Park Community Center." And the cop snarkily, fuck it, here, just listen to the clip.
Explains it.
I can tell you, as somebody who comes from a family full of law enforcement, there is no law enforcement officer that's going to respond. Fucking person saying that this is a fundraiser for a community center. No cop is going to respond like this. But no, Caroline Dries in her buy large mansion groupthink and all your ACAB, remember these, all crows are bastards, only bring in GCPD to make them look like racists when it serves the fucked up narrative that you push on this garbage tier fucking show. Hey Caroline, you seem to forget you're a rich white woman who probably lives in a fucking gated community, and your virtue signaling isn't gonna get you an invite to the cookout, bitch, because you think mayo is spicy. Then the cop says that explains why you people are so loud. Of course we get the obligatory "you people" from Imani.
Why you people are so loud?
And Ryan rushes over to help, and the police ask for a permit, and the cop says you can shut it down or pay a $2,500 fine and take a mark on your liquor license. Ryan says, "This is Gotham City. There isn't a bigger crime happening right now than a bunch of black and brown folk dancing to pop hits." No, she really fucking said that. And here it is if you don't fucking believe me. This is the brilliant fucking writing on this show.
And besides, a bunch of black and brown folks dancing to pop hits?
Luke tries to de-escalate the entire situation, and Ryan, of course being the stupid twat she is, insists that we don't have to turn anything down, and says, "God forbid too many of us gather in one spot." So let me make this perfectly fucking clear. If they would have complied, Ryan and Little Fox wouldn't have been arrested. But because Caroline Dries thinks white bad, black good, this is what fucking happens. You wonder why under 400,000 people watch your fucking show every week, you brain dead fucking cow. Sophie finally arrives at
This is Lesbos!
And we of course get more stereotypical racist white cop shit, which at this point is just downright fucking insulting. And Sophie's trying to flex her nuts on the cop as she says, "I'm a crow who knows what she's talking about." And the cop gets in her face and she gets in his face, and this entire scene is utter fucking shit and speaks on a larger scale to what the pathetic excuse for writers try to pass off as entertainment, when in fact it's simply thinly veiled anti-police woke propaganda. Oh, and after Sophie says that we'll see if the security tapes back up the officer's claims, he asks if she's accusing him of falsifying his report, and Sophie says this.
Trust me, that's a lot better than what I should be accusing you of right now.
Ryan and Luke are locked up in the GCPD holding cell, and Ryan calls Luke privileged for trying to comply with the officer's request to turn down the music. Yes, that's right. She basically calls Luke and Uncle Tom.
Peacefully. That's a privilege.
Sophie shows up under arrest as well, so now we have our 3 main black protagonists all arrested simultaneously so that Cuntaline Dries and her shit talentless hack writers can beat us over the head some more with their obvious fucking pandering and disdain for law enforcement and white people in general.
Have you ever seen anything like this, Pat?
Remember Snake Eyes, our white guy? He's trying to eat from a dumpster, attacks a white lady who he lets go surprisingly, who just happened to be walking by the dumpster. But when a GCPD officer gently approaches him, showing no aggression, calls him brother, says he wants to help him get it through it, he's of course killed by a herd of snakebite zombies. Godspeed, Officer Whitey McWhiterson.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Sophie and Ryan are comparing notes in the cell, and they're going tit for tat. And of course, Ryan plays the "you'll always be a crow first" card. And to finish that sentence for her, because I think she meant to say that you'll always be a crow before you're one of us. And by us, she means black. Yes, Caroline, I finished it for you, you fucking idiot. Alice is in Dr. Ryan's office with her hanging from the ceiling by her wrists, and she's prattling on about how she, Enigma, Dr. Ryan, brainwashed Kate into thinking she's Cersei, and Alice wants to undo it, and Enigma says that she has to shatter Kate's psyche into a million pieces. Yeah, because this is all real psychiatric stuff. And Ryan then says, bring me something uniquely hers, unique to Kate, and I'll fix her, or whatever the fuck she says. I don't want to talk about this. This scene is almost as bad. Let's be honest, it's not as bad as the rest of the episode, but it's still fucking terrible. Then we go over to Mary's super secret underground clinic that nobody knows about, but everybody knows about, that's now legal, and she's treating Jacob. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dougray Scott, the world's biggest fucking loser. She tells him that he almost died, and he says, well, the False Face Society injected me with snakebite. And she's like, bitch, you have 16 track marks. It wasn't just a one-time thing. And in comes White Snake Eyes, and he zip ties himself to a bed and says, I'm the guy who'll eat you alive, or some brilliant Shakespearean dialogue like that.
Move this man!
Alice is down in her underground train car lair looking through her box of Cates's Forget-Me-Nots when Ocean Man shows up and tries to kiss her, but she abstains because she's back in the world of lesbicanos, and he says he's been waiting for her for 2 days down there, and that just means he's a PewDiePie, you tell him. Ocean is sensitive, unassuming, and non-threatening, and she tells him Cates's is alive, and they hug, but you know he doesn't get to smash because he's just a Back at Mary's abortion clinic, she's running down the list of drugs that the Snake Eyes guy has taken, well, what was in the snake bite that he took, and she's feeding him some pizza, and Jacob brings him water because Jacob's a bitch, and he tells her he took a new version of snake bite and admits that his wife died in a car crash, and the snake bite has been his coping mechanism because of its hallucinogenic properties. That's how he talks to her, kind of gets a do-over, but nobody cares because he's a toxic white male, so fuck this guy, am I right?
And what has he had? I want you to tell him what he has had.
Back at the Pokey, Sophie says that she thinks it's important to see black people in law enforcement because she grew up in a community policed by people who didn't look like her, and she wants to show little black girls that they can go to top-tier schools and stand up to bullies, and Ryan then delivers this piece of dialogue, and I thought it couldn't get any worse. Well, I stand corrected, ladies and gentlemen. It can.
The crows are just the wall between the 1% and reality.
Sophie says she risks her life every day. And Sophie then says, you can choose when you're Ryan and when you're Batwoman. I can't choose. And Luke and Sophie have a fucking moment, of course, blah, 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 until they're interrupted by a toxic white male criminal who comes in for stealing a car, and he exclaims, cops are always trying to hold us down, and throws up a fist and says, power to the people, which goes over real well with our characters of color. And then he says, at least we're safer in here than we are out there, because of the zombies. Then we're magically teleported to a Gotham street where an innocent woman is hiding inside of her luxury SUV, which is being battered by snakebite zombies, until they pull her out of the vehicle and begin to devour her in the street, and one lone GCPD officer arrives on the scene, gets out of his car, and radios in the disturbance. It's funny how they send 3 officers for a noise complaint, but only one responds to a zombie cannibal call.
Fuck me, right?
Back in the holding cell, Ryan, Sophie, and Luke hear on the radio that another zombie attack has taken place and all available GCPD units are to respond. And then they find out they're being released because Imani has shown up with a fucking civil rights attorney, and she says this is why they have a civil rights attorney here.
Handing up 3 counts of unlawful arrest, racial discrimination, and assault.
And what thanks does Imani get for helping Ryan and her comrades get out of jail? Well, Ryan just says, fuck you, I'm leaving, I gotta go be Batwoman now. See you later, bitch, and just fucking leaves. At Mary's abortion clinic, Jacob and Mary are working on patients, and generic white guy is trying to eat his own fucking hand. And as Mary's talking to Ryan on the phone, Mary figures out the new recipe is doing this. Her and Ryan are having this conversation. Mary says she knows how to fix it. At Crow headquarters, Sophie is briefing the Crows. She has a conflict with Tavroff. He makes a joke about her washing the jail stench off herself before she comes back to work. And then she says, I'm your commanding officer, acting commander Moore, and basically emasculates him because she's a magical black woman and he's a melanin deficient peasant, and that's how this show is written. Luke is showing Ryan a case which inside it has individual injections, which she is going to have to give to all these fucking zombie drug addicts. Yes, that's right. Luke tells her you're about to get up and close and personal with some cannibal zombie drug addicts, snake bite users who are probably all disgusting, gross white people. He didn't really say that, but they might as well have. I mean, let's face it, the show's on that kind of path.
So,
At Dr. Ryan's office, Ocean has untied Ryan from the ceiling, and Alice has the key to freeing Kate from Enigma's spell, as it were, or so she thinks. But Alice learns that if Kate comes back, she's going to want to imprison Alice. And Ryan tells her she needs a trigger word because unlocking her brain is like getting into a password, a computer. You need a password. And then when Alice asks what it is, Ocean runs up and just breaks her fucking neck. In the best scene in this entire episode thus far.
You serious?
So while Ryan's out playing Resident Evil or Zombieland double tap at this church, she's kind of getting her ass kicked and, beating on some of the zombies, of course, because they're toxic white male zombies, and those are the only kind that is really easy to beat. And it's funny because, even though they're in a zombie-like state, they still are trying to do, martial arts, some of them, which I guess it just is fucking hilarious to see this. I mean, you kind of have to watch the episode, but don't. And then all of a sudden, as Ryan is pinned down on the floor and they're kind of biting on her, she gets up and you see one of them get hit by something, and it turns out to be, well, I'll let this next scene speak for itself because the crow's to the rescue. So Tavaroff and the boys decide to blow off a little bit of steam here at this church. Now, mind you, this is the church where all the junkies are, and this is ground zero for all these zombies in Gotham. So they're literally just mowing these things down. And more, Sophie's on the radio asking why she hears gunfire, and they're just all in a line. It's awesome. Just a beautiful firing line, just dropping all these homeless zombie fucks. And, of course, Sophie's like, you're not supposed to be killing them, these. Oh, my God. We're supposed to save them. And Tavaroff, I love his response after all the shooting stops. Because this guy is literally probably the most competent Crow agent we've seen in the entire show. And he stops after they dust off the last couple of them. And he just calmly gets the radio and he says, I'm sorry, Commander, they were all lost cause. And of course Sophie's all pissy and she pounds her fist on the desk, and Black Woman is hiding under one of the pews, and she's of course just appalled that these toxic white men would shoot all these homeless fucking zombies who would have eaten her face given the chance. But it's a Caroline Dries show, so white man bad. Back at Mary's abortion clinic, she thanks Jacob for the help, and he says it's all her doing. And she figures out that Jacob was getting high so he could see Kate and Beth again. And she's, of course, jealous because she lost everything too. And she's like, you don't even care, Aziz, that you have a daughter here. You only care about the daughters that are gone because they're lesbicanos. And yeah, so generic white guy chews himself free, and Jacob picks up a knife and says, get the hell out of here. And he runs out the door in search of food, and a GCPD officer tries to take him down, and the guy gets on his back and bites his fucking neck. And just as the cop is about to be lunch, Batwoman saves the day and then repels away and says, I almost didn't make it.
You get your bitch ass back in the kitchen and make me some pie.
At Lesbos, after everything blows over, Ryan orders shots, and Sophie says she's leaving the Crows. As she says, hate, ignorance, and apathy are bigger than her. And Ryan says, they don't deserve you, girl. We need you with the good guys so we can scissor. Oh, God, this self-righteousness is fucking killing me.
The end is nigh. The end is nigh. F***ing run away. The end is nigh.
Alice and Ocean are having a feelings talk after Alice is done crying over the body of Dr. Ryan or Enigma because Ocean just snapped her fucking neck. And I have to be honest at this point, I don't really fucking care. I wasn't really paying attention. Ocean just tells Alice she's better off thinking Kate Z's is dead because Kate always chose everybody over Alice, kept locking her up, and then he just pieces the fuck out. So I guess he's no longer a simp, so
that's just a car.
Ryan and Imani are back at our favorite hangout, ladies and gentlemen. You know where I'm talking about.
This is Lesbos!
And of course, they have to finish this episode out with sitting and talking about feelings, and Imani's fucking babbling about bullshit, and Ryan's saying blah, blah, blah. My mama would have liked you. And Imani's like, I bet you got all that from her. The grit, the integrity, blah, blah, blah. And Imani thinks she's scissoring with other lesbians. And Ryan's like, no, I'm not scissoring with other lesbicans, but I'm giving you the watered down version of me, and I can't be with you right now. And Imani's like, whatever, I look like a generic Shuri from Black Panther. And I think this is the last we're going to see of her, hopefully, because this character fucking is annoying as hell.
I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're wanted on the phone.
So to cap off this pathetic fucking shit show of an episode, Little Fox is on his cell phone outside of Wayne Towers, and he sees Eli, the white guy that they were in jail with, put the fist up, power to the people, stealing a car. So he takes a picture of him with his cell phone, and he tries to stop him, and Eli's like, you don't want to make me your problem, buddy. And up pulls, of course, Agent Tavarov in a Crow SUV, and Luke says he's a known car thief, and I've got photographic evidence right here. And Eli was like, no, he was stealing the car. And Luke's like, no, I got my phone right here, see? And he goes to fucking reach inside his pocket. This is the same person who was trying to de-escalate the situation earlier. Reaches for his phone. Tavarov just fucking yells, gun, shoots him 3 times in the fucking chest. And Little Fox falls to the pavement. Presumably, probably fucking dead. I don't know. If I was Cameron Johnson, I'd want to be killed off. And his phone falls down, and the dramatic music plays. And fuck this episode. I'm done. I love you guys, but I can't do this anymore. Fuck this. Take it away.
Peter, I'm really starting to question why I'm even friends with you in the first place.
All I was going to say was that that this was going to happen. Sophie quit the Crows, so now all you have left tying the Crows to the main cast is Jacob, and Jacob is an ineffectual fucking white male anyway, so they don't give a shit about him. Now they're going to paint Tavarov as this horrible, evil racist. When Luke knew how to deal with the police, he proved it earlier in the episode, so why the fuck would he just automatically reach for his phone when he's in a tense situation like that? It makes no sense other than the writers needed a white guy to shoot an innocent black man in an episode where they tried to paint every white police officer out to be an asshole. That's it. This episode was fucking dog shit. I'm done. I'll catch you guys tonight on the podcast.